Hello and welcome again. So in this polarity integration, we're going to explore this particular one, and it's a good one. So it's the polarity of fear and fearless. Yeah, which might seem like oppositions, but are actually one and the same thing. So we're going to explore that today. So have fun and go stand. So you know the drill. Go stand on the side that feels like fear to you. And maybe you want to work with something very specific here. So you can go just globally, okay, what does the state of fear or distress feel like in your system or in your body? You can also go more specifically. So maybe a particular area or context in your life where you tend to be feeling afraid, yeah? Or a particular situation or around a particular person or whatever it might be. Where in your life do you feel afraid? So choose your party and choose whichever one you're going to explore, and just choose one and just stick with it for this particular exercise. And you can always come back to this polarity and find yourself another exploration, yeah, another option to explore. So choose your polarity and then stand on the side of fear and take note how this side feels for you. Most of us probably feel quite uncomfortable here, but some of us might actually feel quite comfortable here, paradoxically. So just notice how the body and the system in your specific location right now is responding to this side of fear. Maybe you notice a change in your breathing, a change in your heartbeat, a change in your perception. As you really feel into this space of fear and being afraid. Maybe you notice sensations in the body arise or dissipate or grow or expand or contract, whatever is here, hot or cold. Maybe it's very subtle underlying to the currency. So simply take a few deep breaths and notice whatever it is that is arising in this space here for you of fear. What memories or associations arise? What comes up as you stand in this space of fear? And now slowly let go of fear. So you let go of fear and you start walking to the other side, to the space of fearless. Not being afraid, fearless. And notice how you experience this space of fearless. Being fearless. Not having a fear or any fears. And notice again how the body is responding to this place of fearless. How do you feel as you stand here? What's the overall quality of the sensation of the feeling? How do you feel? How are you here? What can you notice here in this space of fearless? Being fearless. Again, notice the heartbeat, any breathing patterns that are present or changing. And notice your perception. maybe how it was different to when you were standing in fear. So any shifts that you notice, anything that's different to what you were standing on in the other side, when you were standing on in fear. And then really start to realize and see that fearless, you can only reference a state of fearlessness if you can reference a state of being afraid. And so the two are completely interdependent. And you really start to notice as you start walking up and down. So walk back to fear, and in your own time, start walking up and down. So let's leave fearless for now and walk back to fear. And as you move to the other side, notice what the quality of the energetic in the body, in the system, in the mind, how it changes your quality of being as you stand now in this place of fear. Notice how it is to be here. Any changes in breathing patterns, perception, heartbeat, and any other sensations that are present. And start walking up and down this place of fear and fearless. And this is really a personal inquiry space for you. I'm not giving too much away for a reason, because then you end up with more concepts and more ideas about what it is or what it isn't, or this or that. Was really what we're doing here. We're going beyond the mind. Fifth person perspective is a perception, a perspective that's beyond the mind. It's a quality of being. It can be realized through direct realization. It can't be conceptualized or understood. So walk up and down in your own time and take a few minutes to note how it feels to move from fear to fearless, and maybe with the specific example that you had in mind, notice how it changes the quality of that potentially. Notice on which side you feel maybe more comfortable or uncomfortable, or just anything that's present here. We're exploring, discovering. I want you to stay in the body. So we're not going to go too conceptual around this. So simply notice what the body is feeling as you walk up and down this polarity. And now stand back. And if you need more time, pause the video and just come back to it later. Otherwise, we're going to move on. So stand back into fifth person perspective. So you stand in the apex point into fifth person perspective. And you can see on the one side fear and on the other side fearless. And you can really see clearly the fearless, where both fear and fearless don't exist and yet do exist. And we can only speak of fear when we can speak of fearless. I can only reference a state of fear if I have a reference point of how it feels and is to be fearless. Otherwise, I can't speak of fear, and the other way around, the same thing. I can't speak of fearless or being fearless if I don't have a reference point of what it feels like to be afraid. And so they are interdependent. They exist because the other exists. And so in this fifth person perspective, you can realize that really neither exists. None of them really exist. And then yet both do exist. And so there's complex paradox, dynamic complex paradox available as a world for you here. This is not easy. About 10% of the planet is genuinely able, well, probably less, 5% of the planet is genuinely able to embody this. And 10% of the planet, maybe 15% of the planet is able to conceptualize this. So practice and come back to this if you really want to embody this. It's all practice, and it's all really seeing through the perceptions we've created for ourselves around certain concepts and certain states. I can only speak of a contraction in the body if I know how it feels like to have an openness in the body. I can't reference the other side otherwise. So one can't exist without the other. It's not possible. So come back if you have any questions. So please reach out again if you have any questions. And also use the community to get clear on this together. It's really fun to explore this together in community. So use that community space as well. And write down, again, after this, write down any insights, any observations, anything you've learned or unlearned today based on this polarity exercise that we just went through. So write down anything that arose for you that you thought was particularly insightful. Maybe you want to remember something in particular moment, which can be very powerful and useful. In moment X, I want to remember X state or way of being. And that's how you can start to rewire your system. We are all differently wired. We're wired in different ways. And so this is all an exploration of how are we wired. So none of it is good or bad. It's simply data information as to how are we wired. So enjoy and see you soon. Thank you.